Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, they're here, guys, they're here. Okay. Before we get started, here's just one little clip of what you missed last week. Why just one laser at first and then another laser?
And then
the laser
because
moves?
it's
2002, man.
All right, now that that's out of the way, this is what's coming up on this episode of Real Garbage. We talk about identification in the 80s.
Here you go. Here's a wedding picture of me and your mother.
We talk about getting amped up for arm wrestling. Pacing back and forth like a mad dog, and then just like screaming with this look like I'm gonna murder this person as he's like, yeah. And Katie talks about dealing with old people when they get a little kooky.
Okay, so when are we hitting up Dr. Phil? Because we need help.
That's all coming up on this episode of Real Garbage. But first, here's a quick word from our fake sponsors.
This episode of Real Garbage is brought to you by getting sucked back into a video game.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey, Sly. This episode is also brought to you by steroids. If you want to stay in movie shape, you got to do steroids. Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Adrian!
Ho, 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 Christmas is just around the corner. Here comes Santa down the chimney with his big-ass balls.
Strangest thing, he was masturbating on the bus, which was mind-boggling because it's only Sunday.
Real Garbage.
And we're here.
Oh my god.
Screw you, Mike Stan.
Right in the face.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Viewers, listeners, realtors,
Realtors?
realers. There's so many names for them.
Yeah.
Real estate agents.
Real.
It's prime real estate right here.
Prime real estate, dude.
So back on the WoW, eh?
Yep, the new expansion came out, and one of my friends in Alberta, I've been friends with him for like 10 years. He's the one that does Night of the Podcast with his two other friends. So shout out to Night of the Podcast. Go listen.
What's up?
Review Scaries.
So what do they, hold on, what do they review? Movies or games?
So they just finished reviewing a TV show on the History Channel about like Skinwalker Ranch and the Skinwalkers. And then I'm not sure what they're gonna dive into next. But yeah, they just finished the last few episodes of that. So check it out if you like creepies.
Interesting.
It's a really fun listen. It's kind of the same thing we do. Like they're talking about each episode and reviewing it, and they have their own hilarious commentary on what's going on. It's a really fun listen. But I was talking to him, and he said one of his friends got him to check out WoW, and I was like, oh, really? And he fell in love with it and bought a month and got the new expansion. And he was like, you should do it too so we can play together. And that's one of the big reasons I stopped playing. The other one was I went to BlizzCon like 2016, 2017, 2018. So all my money went to Blizzard a different way. And then the only other person I played with was my best friend, CJ, also in Alberta. I've been friends with her for 20 years, which feels disgusting to say.
Why?
Just because I feel like I'm too young to be like, I've had a friend for 20 years.
I've had a friend for 30 years.
No,
so
I know.
what?
It just feels like
No. You should be proud of that.
I'm proud, but
You should be very happy for that.
like
I-
20 years, 10 years. I'm
yeah.
like,
A long-term friend in this day and age
That's true.
should be, what's the word I'm looking for?
Celebrated.
Celebrated. Absolutely should. I know so many people that I'm like, hey, we should be friends. And they're like, you never talk to them
No,
or see
I
them ever. And you're like,
know.
we're like, when you're hanging out with that person, you're like, we're best friends. We're this is amazing. And they're like, yeah, just never make time for you.
Yeah.
Because people are dicks.
Yeah. And you're like, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll survive. I have video games.
Yeah. But yeah, so her and I stopped playing because we were going to cons together and jobs and work. But then my friend Justin was like, come on, like we'll quest together. It'll be fun. So he and I both started like brand new characters from level 1. I'm playing a troll hunter And this is the first troll character I've ever made.
So wait, hang on. There isn't just human and horde anymore. There's trolls as well, or is troll a horde?
Let me dive in, Jeff. Maybe I'll convince you
Welcome
to play
to the
too.
world. I will never, because let me just tell you why. Because that game sucked my life away.
Yeah.
For an entire summer when I was 25 years old.
Me.
Yeah. And I remember looking outside on a sunny day and hearing birds chirping and children playing, and I'm like, looking at the screen, looking back out the window, going, what am I doing? And I just exited out and never touched it again. And I know damn well that will happen again if I play. I can't do it.
Okay, fair. But yeah, so there's still the Horde and the Alliance. The main races are human for Alliance and orc for Horde. Obviously, that's how it started. But then on the Horde side, you can play as a Tauren, which is a big like bull cow on 2 feet. You can play as a gnome, but I thought that hit too close to home for me. Because that's me in real life.
Gnomes are like 10 inches tall.
Yes, but
You're a little taller than 10 inches tall.
true. Okay, so orc, Tauren, gnome, undead, which is a zombie, troll, and I feel like I'm forgetting one. But then on the Alliance side, there's human worgen, which is a werewolf, which to me does not make sense being on the Alliance side. What the But none of my business. Dwarf. Oh yeah, on the Horde side, you have blood elf, you have night elf on the Alliance side, and then you have the Draenei on the Alliance side, which are a really cool race. But yeah, so I created a troll, and there's this beautiful place in the last expansion called Zandalar, and it's the troll place, but it's all gold and very Aztec-y. There's gold pyramids. It's very lush and beautiful and green, and it's so fun, and that's where I'm at right now.
Interesting.
I'm only like, I think level 13, but it's been great.
Oh, come on, not again. Oh, come on. I just need some sleep.
Hey there, buddy. Can't sleep?
Who said that?
It's me, Snoozius, the god of sleep.
The god of sleep. I've never heard of you.
Oh, well, me then, right? Go yourself, dick. I'm out of here.
Wait. I'm sorry. What are you doing here?
I'm here to tell you about an all-natural sleep aid called Sleepinol. It's a mixture of green tea leaves, melatonin, a little bit of Rohypnol, and just a dash of high-grade heroin.
What? Heroin? That sounds terrible.
Well, you might get a few side effects, hallucinations, explosive diarrhea, nonstop vomiting, but it'll put you to sleep.
Wait a minute. You said hallucinations? Are you real?
I'm real garbage, buddy.
Honey? Other side effects of Sleepinol include sweating, indigestion, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, cramping, irritability, mood swings, violent mood swings, sleepiness, dizziness, anxiety, severe anxiety, depression, loss of appetite, uncontrollable appetite, diarrhea, rectal bleeding, rectal swelling, liver failure, respiratory problems, mild to permanent blindness, loss of taste, loss of smell, numbness, fatigue, inability to achieve and maintain an erection, loss of bladder control, and mild nausea. Do not take Sleepinol if you are old, young, on medication, off medication, consuming alcohol or cocaine, caffeine. Do not consume Sleepinol if you are a woman, person, man, camera, TV. Under no circumstances should you ever use Sleepinol. It's a made-up drug. Sleepinol. Just smoke weed instead. See, I can't add another game to my repertoire because I was telling you when you got here, I just got Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. It's finally out.
It is. It's neat. It's cool because I feel fortunate to just have gotten it now and not have really known about it for the entire 9 years it's been being made. I only heard about it, I think, 6 or 7 months ago. I was like, what is this game? And the video they were showing just didn't look that cool. I was like, all right, this game looks like it's going to be all right. But then recently I started getting into watching videos on YouTube, and it's like,
You're like, holy
this. And, you can get, I like how you can get like cyberware, like robot parts. Because like I'm thinking about getting metal legs at some point. Because you can get metal legs. You can get, I got like an optical thingamajiggy, like a robot eye, and then like robot hands. It's weird. But if you do too much cyberware, you can get you can go crazy. So you'll actually fight guys that have become like psychos with all the cyberware. So they're basically robots.
Interesting.
It's cool. I haven't gone too deep into it. I got off work early today and I cleaned my apartment. Then I'm like, all right, I'm going to play for an hour or two. So I played for about an hour and a half. And it's cool. It's a pretty big map. A lot. Just it's overwhelming the amount of customization though.
Oh,
Because there's 6 attributes, and then in those attributes there's like 3 tiers, and each tier has like 20 things you can get. I'm like, man, this is
It'll take forever customizing your thing.
But the neat thing is that you can play as a nomad, a street kid, or a corporate person. So I started as a nomad. You start out in the outskirts of town.
On the boonies.
Yeah, and you just work your way in. So I'm already in Night City. Like you do one mission and you're like already driving across the border going in. So it's pretty neat.
Cool.
I got a car accident last Saturday.
What?
Yeah.
What
Wasn't
the
anything
hell?
major, but it just a little fender bender. This guy hit me from behind. And this goes to show the power of the mind and how you can be convinced of something. So I turned off of Burnside onto Douglas Ave.
Okay.
And they recently in the last 6 or 12 months, I in my head, I think they added a boulevard in the middle of that road.
Yeah.
I feel like they did.
Yeah.
Because when you used to come off Burnside, you'd go, if you turn into the first lane, you go over 2 more lanes. Now you're now in the 3rd lane. You're in the middle lane. It's like the far left lane. And then you
Yeah.
can turn left onto Market Street ahead of Hillside. It's not an illegal turn unless it's 4 to 6 o'clock on a Monday to Friday. So I guess in my head, I had changed all the lanes I needed to. And I went to turn left there and boom, I just got smashed. I was like, what the hell is going on? So we both pull off and I kept my composure, but in my head, I was like, you idiot. Like, what were you thinking? Why'd you hit me? What are you doing? So he gets out of the car. It's him, the owner of the car, and this guy driving. He's like, man, don't you have mirrors? I'm like, mirrors? What would I need mirrors for? I was turning left. He goes, you can't turn here. And I'm like, I look at the sign. I go, oh, it is a no left turn. So in my head, I'm like, I'm at fault. This is all my fault. Crap. So he pushed in his headlight a little bit, cracked my rear bumper. It's a plastic Kia. And I'm looking, I'm like, man, I could just pop that around and tape it up and that's fine. So we didn't go through insurance, but we did get a video from the business on the corner there. So I phoned the guy and I was like, man, I wasn't making an illegal left turn. It's a legal turn.
Yeah.
Somebody's have to pay this bill. Like I'm not paying for my repairs. He's like, well, you cut us off. I said, I was in the left lane. He goes, no, dude, you turned in front of us 100%. And I go, no, I didn't. Like in my head, I was 100% convinced that I was in the right.
Yeah.
He sends me an email with the video and he goes, bro, this completely shows that this was on you. So I look at the video. I'm like, whoa, I completely from the middle lane just decided to turn left like an idiot.
Oh, shit.
I was like beating myself up for days over it. I'm like, you idiot, stupid moron. What's wrong with you? It's crazy though. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what was going on. I was like, I'm going to turn here. Luckily, he was paying attention.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that
I
sucks.
just had to pay the guy $70 for a new headlight.
Not bad. Okay.
No big deal.
Yeah.
It wasn't the end of the world. I'm like, man, I don't want to go through insurance. He's like, me neither. They're just going to tell me. Because this car was like, I got a 2017 Kia. He was driving like a 1986 Honda. I'm like, oh, man, really?
Oh, yeah. They're just going to be like, write it off.
He's like, yeah, I'm going to take this in. And they're going to be like, here's $200 for it. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was in the right.
Damn.
I thought I didn't do anything wrong. It's just so crazy. Because it was funny. There was a semi turning there. And I was like, oh, man. I probably should wait till he turns. So I slowed down, then I went to turn left, and that was it. I should have just kept on going. And it was funny because like the guy had this contraption in his truck, and he was like doing arm curls like Sylvester Stallone was, and over the top.
Oh my God.
There was an actual semi there, though. I didn't make that up. I did make up this thing.
The curls. Fuck that.
So this movie, Over the Top, 1987 Sylvester Stallone.
I wish I could say the movie was over the top, but the only thing it was over the top with was how friggin' stupid it was.
Oh, the over the top part. The scenes from the arm wrestling competition in the last 30 minutes of this movie, because they were all real.
Yeah.
I did some digging on the trivia
Yeah,
too.
they were
'cause I
all
was like,
professional wrestlers, arm
a
wrestlers.
few of them were. There
Yeah,
was
that
only like
bald guy.
that man. That was such a ridiculous movie. But I want to nutshell this movie for people. I want to tell everybody what Over the Top is about. So Over the Top is a 1987 Sylvester Stallone movie about a truck driver named Lincoln Hawk, who left his wife and son 10 years ago and is now, or 12 years ago or something. I
Yeah.
think kid's like 12.
Yeah.
And is now coming back into their lives so he can reconstruct a relationship with his son. And in doing so, teaches his son a bunch of lessons, and they go to an arm wrestling competition. That's basically it.
And they go to an arm wrestling
And
competition.
they arm wrestle for the last half an hour of this movie.
Truly. Half an hour of it.
It's hilarious. I'm glad it was a classic hour and a half.
Yes. I was so happy it wasn't a stupidly, like, even an hour and 45 minutes, I would have been like, you
It's
really
too
thought
much.
I had to go on this long?
This even had like 10 minutes of credits. Which is even
Yeah.
better. I got a kick out of, I still get a kick out of how in the 80s, truck driving was glamorized in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was, if you were a trucker, oh man, you were badass. Like now I think back to why my biological father was a truck driver.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, he probably saw that and was like, man, it's a cool job. Let's do that. A lot of people I knew were like, their dads were truck drivers.
I know a couple of my friends' dads or truck drivers or grandpas. Like it was a big thing, and it was definitely in. It was like the cool thing to do.
Now, I don't know anybody. I know one person who drives truck, and it's like a gravel truck in Brentwood Bay. That's it. One person.
I remember my grandpa who I live with here. He had his old Chevy truck, and it had one of those trucker radios in it.
CB.
Yeah. Yes. And I would always with it. I wouldn't say anything bad, but I'd be like flipping through the channels until I heard something, and then I would just be like, breaker.
It's always breaker one.
Breaker.
man.
Yeah.
We got a great big convoy.
And then I had no idea, like, I was speaking out there. Like, when I heard radio, I was like, oh, like tunes.
No, you're talking to people. There's somebody like,
I just
who the
picture
hell
these
is this
huge
person?
truckers like, Jesus, someone get the toddler off the mic.
This is a private channel.
Yeah.
All right, so we start off. He's getting the. I can't remember how he gets notified by his wife, his ex-wife. She's like, go pick him up from military school.
Yeah.
So he's on his way to pick up his son from military school. And I remember when military school used to be like a punishment.
Yeah.
Right? Like a threat.
Yeah,
You
like-
keep acting up, we're going to send you to military school.
And I mean, I could understand why it's seen as a punishment if your kid comes out like Sylvester Stallone's stupid ass kid.
He was a little
He was a little face.
just lippy. Way too lippy.
Oh, I swear to God, I heard someone like
The
upstairs.
neighbors.
I was like, I heard something.
It's just the ghosts.
Cool.
I have ghosts.
Nice.
He picks him up from military school, and then this kid he's about to leave. Oh, yeah, because he sees that nobody shows up. He's like, oh, my ride's not here.
Yeah.
So, or at least that's what
He's
he
like,
looked like.
where's my chauffeur?
Which was strange because he's looking like he's like, oh, man, nobody's here. Then he's wandering off to a limo like, is this for so-and-so? Is this
Yeah.
for me?
Is this the Michael Cutler limo?
And he goes to jump in his limo, and someone's like, hey, buddy, you got to come see the dean. So he like goes back to the dean's office, and the dean's like, oh, this is your father, apparently. He's here to pick you up. And he's like, I'm going to need to see some credentials.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
He asks him for ID, and he's like,
Here's
here you go. Here's a wedding picture of me and your mother.
Yeah.
Like, this is an ID.
Yeah.
Back in 87, they didn't have Photoshop.
No. And then I love how the dean was like, that's not necessary. Like this kid, at least this kid was like more concerned about his own safety than the dean. Because if you were to go to a school, even in 86, and you were like, yeah, I'm so-and-so's parent or parent's friend, I'm here to get them, a teacher wouldn't just be like, okay,
The 80s were a different time. They're like, yeah, you'll be fine.
I guess.
Nobody's going to kidnap you, you little
Yeah.
So yeah, they hop into the truck. Ooh, did you know that the truck he was driving was also the same truck that they saw in The Wizard?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in like one or two scenes of The Wizard. Just had a different name. Didn't have Hawk towing on the side, or Hawk
Interesting.
hauling on the side. Had something else.
You know what I thought was funny? That Lincoln's last name is Hawk. And when Kathy or Catherine, whatever his mom's name, was married to Lincoln, her last name was Hawk. And they had a son named Mike, and his name was Mike Hawk. He was a little cock.
So they hop in the truck, and he's like, how long is it going to take just to get home? And he's like, well, a couple of days, a couple of stops here and there. We're going to get there eventually.
Yeah.
Jumps in there, and they start reminiscing a little bit. And the kid's like, yeah, if you just not talk to me, that'd be great. I'm like, wow.
Like, what a prick. And
At
then
least he's well spoken.
that's true.
We'll give him that.
Yeah, that's true. But then him pouting and being like, "Why can't we fly?" I wasn't on a plane when I was 12. Like,
I didn't fly till I was, I don't know, 13 years ago?
Yeah.
In my mid-20s or so.
And then
This truck is disgusting. Why do you have so many pictures of me? Where'd you get them?
It was a little odd. It would be odd to hop into somebody's truck and see nothing but photos.
that's true.
Why don't you just put them in a photo album?
Yeah. Well, he's a trucker. He's on the road all the time. And
It's not like you're driving, staring at the photos. But I will
he
say,
does sleep in his truck.
later on, they were driving and arm wrestling at the same time.
Yeah.
That was
Dangerous.
very strange. Like worse than texting and driving.
Honestly, yeah.
Full turn, like, yeah, it'll good. Don't worry, it drives itself.
Yeah.
Go over the top. So they get to know each other a little bit, and you find out that the mother's been hiding all the letters. He's like, I wrote you like 500 letters. And he's like, oh, I didn't get one of your letters. And he's like, okay.
And then he's like, pull over, I'm going to puke. And then just runs into the freeway. And I personally, another thing that is not, like, it would not fly even in the 80s. If you saw a child escape, like looking like they're escaping a truck and booking it across the freeway, but with no care of their own safety, and you see this Sylvester Stallone-sized dude running after him like, Mike, come here, and then grabs him from behind, I'd be like,
That looks suspicious.
kidnapping?
That looks sus.
Yeah. Sus.
Somebody said that the other day. I was like, what have you been playing? Have you been playing Among Us? Just say suspicious.
Yeah, someone's like, red is sus, and you're like,
it always irks me when people over the age of 35 try to use the lingo that young people like. I'll say yeet every now and then, but as a joke.
yeah,
But if someone's like, "Oh, this
ironically.
looks sus," I'm like, "Oh, what?
You're like,
You're older. You're as old as me. Don't use that word." It's good for podcasting, but not public.
40-year-old man, sus.
You look sus.
You're like, all right, Bob.
So this is where we meet the villain. So the villain.
The grandpa?
The villain is Robert Lozier, the grandpa.
Yeah, what a asshole. No wonder the kid's an asshole. His father figure is an asshole.
Oh yeah, he's just rich.
He's a rich snob who thinks like this truck driver is a loser. Like,
He doesn't even know. They don't even know each other. He just knows that he left Robert Lozier's now girlfriend. I guess they're not married.
what? No, that's his daughter.
Oh, that's
No,
right.
so
That's right.
So what I picked out from this is that
Oh man, I don't know why I thought they were dating.
yuck.
Oh yeah, because he was talking about him being the father figure, which seemed really
Yeah,
weird.
he was like, I've been his father for 13 years. Calm down.
Maybe that's
Gramps.
why. Maybe that's why I thought they were
Probably
banging.
because it was a weird thing. But like, yeah, that was his daughter. And I'm convinced that it's the classic story of the dad not liking Sylvester Stallone, because spoiler alert, way later on in the movie, toward the end, the grandpa is like, here's a truck that's worth $50,000 and I'll give you $500,000 to f off and never come into our lives again. So my guess is because the reason for him disappearing for 10 years and leaving his wife, who he loved, and his son is because this guy was making his life a living hell and was like, I'll give you this money to f off. And he probably took it then, which is why he didn't take it at the end to show growth.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
That makes sense.
and also with the letters, I don't think his mom was hiding them because she was the one who was like, no, see your son. Basically, like, I'm dying. I think it was Gramps.
So, well, if that's the case, then that means the mom and the kid were all living. Were they living with Grandpa?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that makes sense then. He was checking the mailbox.
Well, the butler was. He wasn't.
The butler.
The butler,
Take all these letters and throw them out.
Mr. Cutler's not available.
The version you watched on the MGM channel, were all the Lozier scenes really quiet? Mm-hmm. Okay, it wasn't just me.
Yes. No, I was
I had the
watching
TV
it.
cranked up to 30, and I
Yeah.
was like, why is it so quiet?
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
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 Okay, so back to the kids and the kid in the truck. They makes a comment of, he's like, hey, let's go stop at this diner and get some burgers. He's like, burgers? You're going to die of cholesterol
No, he doesn't even say
poisoning.
burgers. He says steaks.
Oh, steak, that's right.
Like, steak isn't going to give you cholesterol problems and kill you.
So back in the 80s, the battle against cholesterol was all to sell margarine.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten margarine?
I can't believe it's not butter.
It's...
When I was a kid, yeah. Because I didn't know better. It was just in the fridge.
Didn't know better.
But now, like, it's so funny. So my grandparents that I live with, they have always had butter. They've always been butter people. My dad's parents, who I would go visit and stuff, they always had margarine. They always had Splenda, too. So I would always have, like, with my grandparents that I live here as a kid, Cheerios with sugar on it. But then at my dad's parents' house, it would be Cheerios with Splenda on it because they didn't have sugar.
Ooh, that's too much.
Yeah. My dad's parents would also give me coffee, though, too.
When you're how old?
Maybe that's why I'm so f***ing short.
Holy. Yeah, I think it stunts your growth, doesn't it?
Well, okay, to put it in perspective for the listeners, probably, oh God, I haven't been around that branch in forever. So I was probably at least,
Branch of the family tree.
yeah,
Branch of the bank.
yeah.
Branch of the butter people.
No, I was probably given coffee by them when I was like 7, maybe.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
8?
not good for a child.
They gave me like coffee with milk in it, and then they gave me those little like baby biscuits that were the huge ovals to like dip in it. And they had just put like a lot of milk in it.
Digestive cookies.
Yeah, the Aeroplan ones or what the fuck ever.
Was it no, not Arrow.
Not
Roots.
Aeroplan. Arrowroot, yeah.
Was it Arrowroot?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
gave me arrowroot cookies to like dip in my coffee. So I'm like 7
Here's
years
your
old.
coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, the kids are playing. Make them a pot of coffee.
Yeah. Put a pot of coffee on. And
So-
then I'd watch Old Yeller.
So they go to this diner to get some steaks. No, what is it?
Yeah,
what does he end up getting?
steaks.
Well, then he ends
Oh,
up getting
and then
a
he's like,
tuna salad.
I'll have a tuna salad with a spring water with lemon.
It's like, make that too.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's a rival arm wrestler. Just happens to be at the diner in the middle of nowhere. He's
Yeah,
like-
and then they corner this man and his son.
his name was Smasher. Smasher was like, let's arm wrestle now. And he's like, no, I'm going to see you at the finals there.
Yeah. And he's like, no, do it now. And then we find out what over the top means. I was, okay, no matter.
It doesn't work.
No, I was like, watching this, I was like, we have to, like, Jeff and I have to arm wrestle so I can do the over the top move.
Doesn't
And
make a difference.
No, like, what the
It's all the turn of the hips and you're pulling.
Yeah.
Ugh, I remember arm wrestling some dude at work once. So somebody, I can't remember who started it. We were all in the camp lunchroom, and someone was like, I bet you Jeff could beat, what's his face there in arm wrestle. And he was like, good luck. And then it just ate, you could see it just eating away at him. Because someone was like, I bet you Jeff could beat him. Jeff probably beat him. All of a sudden he's like, boom, he kicks the table. He's like, let's do it. And we did it. And I almost beat him. And this guy was like 30 pounds bigger than me. And he was, he was just an asshole. And yeah, he like get everything he had into it. Just, ah! I'm like, all right, fine, you win, dude. You know, I'm left-handed though, so whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, just got mad at that. I'm
Yep.
like, I'm not gonna arm wrestle you though. I'll keep left myself.
My trick is just distracting. Like, I'll get in the arm wrestling position, and then I'll just be like,
Oh yeah, sorry, I jumped the gun here. He talks to the dude after. It's Smasher's another guy, and he does arm wrestle him. He's
Right.
like,
Who
let's
is
do
this
it.
guy,
And he's like,
Thrasher?
fine. It's like, I'll give you 10-1 odds or something. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
yeah.
10-1 odds. It sounds good. And they just happen to have an arm wrestling table in the back.
yeah, just convenient.
Because arm wrestling, it's dead now, basically. People still do it, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
back in the 80s, like, arm wrestling was a big thing.
Really?
There was an arm wrestling video game. I don't think it was called Over the Top, but
No.
it was legitimately like it was a gigantic
Yeah.
robot arm that would come out and you'd have
I
to
saw
like
that
wrestle
in the
it.
Princess Diaries.
It was hilarious. We would just have like get your buddies in there, like put it on the hardest one, and then everybody just laying on this machine. It was tough because like that thing just had no give at all. It was like it would just start going. Brrr. Oh, here's a little test for you. Okay, hold your hand out like this.
Okay.
Now, get your palm from facing up to facing down without turning your wrist. No, you just turn your wrist.
No.
That's the turn of your wrist.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Watch this.
What?
For the listeners,
What the?
you're going to have to watch the video to see that. because it's
You've
pretty.
been watching TikTok?
It's pretty cool. No, that was it was some Instagram video or something. It was on Imager. It was like some.
Okay. Wait. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just repeat. Do that again.
Hey!
I asked someone to do it the other day, and they're like, they like got on the ground and rolled. I'm like, what are you doing? You're still turning your wrist.
They're
Doesn't work like
contorting
that.
their whole body.
All right, so we arm wrestle Smasher in the back. Does the over the top. That's what they see over the top for the first time.
Yeah.
And then it's as he's leaving here, he runs into the 5-time arm wrestling champ who's like, "Come on, Hawk, just do it right now and settle it out of the thing." He's like,
Yeah.
"No, I'll see you in Vegas." So I found that
We're
kind
like,
of
where's this rivalry coming
very
from?
lucky that. There was a one spot right after this too. So Bull, that's that guy's name. They're got like another wide angle shot of a truck driving. His truck driving down the road. Did you notice that his truck was driving on the wrong side of the highway?
Yes.
So I assume they shot the shot and then mirrored it. It's the only thing I can think of because they wouldn't be. Because this was all filmed in. It was in like Los Angeles and Arizona or something, or
Where it's
or
the right
Nevada.
side. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's all the right side in the States.
Yeah.
They're not filming in Europe. So the only reason I thought that the shot was like that because it was mirrored. It seemed odd. I'm like, why wouldn't you just shoot the shot and just put it out the way it was supposed to be? Why would you flip it?
Maybe Stallone didn't like the side profile on the original, so they had it mirrored.
But it's still the same shot, just mirrored.
I don't know.
I've done it lots on the show. I put on video from movies and I'm like, just mirror it. Just mirrors it. Which is weird because in your head you're like, wait a minute, something's not right.
Yeah.
Because you've seen the movie and you're like, I know it's not facing this way. That's how our brains do that. They also tell us that we're in the left lane, we're in the middle lane. Idiots. I said to point out that Robert Lozier was unbelievably tanned in this movie.
He was so sprayed, like very leathery.
And I wrote down, what's he up to? Because, he was the villain in this. And it just seemed like, he was just trying to get Hawk to leave.
Yeah.
And just stay away from the grandson. But,
Like, why was he so possessive, though?
I kept asking myself, like, what's your end game here? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
It just seems like you're going really hard in the paint for something that you should be like, all right, well, maybe let's give this guy another chance. It's been 10 years.
I know.
10 years is a long time to hold a grudge.
Well, he's the bratty aristocrat that thinks because you're poor, you're nothing. Which is why he was like, oh, this truck driver isn't good enough for my daughter and my grandson. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was I think the way people saw truckers back in the day.
He was a rich, snobby brat.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a rat bastard.
So we come back from Loja. There was a lot of back and forth in this. Back from
Yeah.
Loja back to the truck, and then it's nighttime, and he's like,
Oh, yeah,
just pulls over. He's like, "Whoa, boo, better get some sleep. It's time to sleep, sitting up in the truck."
Yeah, not even laying down. Like, here's the thing. Here's what I have learned and know from truckers. When you're an on-the-road long-term trucker, you have that bed up. Yes, yeah.
You have a sleeper cab.
Yeah.
Even my buddy Tyler's got a scale business, and he's he'll work on the road every now and then. Sometimes stay in a hotel, but sometimes he'll sleep in his sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
And he's if it's like a few hours away from town, he's like I'm gonna stay in the truck if it's a nice summer night or something.
So, okay, this has nothing to do with the movie, but you know how it's like illegal to sleep in your car? Like if you're sleeping in your car and your cop comes over, like you can get a ticket, but it's legal to sleep in the truck because it's a sleeper?
Yeah, it's weird.
So
I thought
by
you were-
that logic, like, couldn't I get one of those like car mattresses and put it in the back?
See that? Apparently not, which is really weird. And I think it's where you sleep too. But I thought you were going to point out the story. I just read the story the other day of a woman in California who got ticketed for sleeping in her car because she's homeless. But so now she sleeps in a sleeping bag next to her car, and that's legal.
That's to me.
It's so stupid. This is how we treat people. It's like, just let them sleep in their car.
Yeah.
You're not going to get stabbed
Rather
if you're in a
than-
locked car.
Exactly. You're safer and you're warm. Like,
You're not
going to
get shit on by a homeless person.
Yeah, eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah, it just seems. I saw that headline and was like, what? And I
No.
read the little blurb underneath.
No,
I was
no,
like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Sounds like a control thing to me.
He really wanted I love how he's like,
Hey, you get your neck gets sore. You can sleep on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And they wake up in the morning, he's sleeping on him. Even that, though, if you've ever been in a semi, you know how far apart the seats are.
Yeah, it's like a little island
Yeah, and I don't think that was a bench seat. So, like,
No.
Sly was literally...
on his child, who, might I add, didn't wake up.
When was the last time you fell asleep not on a bed?
Oh, shit.
When was the last time you fell asleep sitting up? Or in a weird kinked position? Or leaning against the, like, let's say on a plane. When was the last time you slept on a plane on the window seat? Just
Plane.
even that will
last
leave
year.
your neck all kinked.
Even with a neck pillow, it hurts.
He was sitting here leaning over like
he
this.
was like,
He wouldn't have been able to stand up getting out of
No.
that truck.
no.
Would have been a little sore. And then, oh man. So before they fell asleep, he's like, yeah, I think we should do a little exercise the next morning. And they, the soundtrack. All 80s rock soundtrack.
Of course.
The montage of them working out had me in stitches.
I know.
So
them
stupid.
just like doing those curls on the front of the truck. What the? What?
I'm pretty sure my brother and I did that though. After watching this movie, like, yeah, let's go do
I can
one-arm
see
curls
that.
everywhere we go. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like when I first watched like the early 2000s Charlie's Angels. I was doing high kicks everywhere.
Yeah. Well, the same thing with us watching Van Damme movies. Like my
Oh,
brother would
yeah.
always do the weird trips to me, and
Did you try to do the splits?
so I still do.
Nice.
I actually sit here and stretch almost every night now.
Nice.
Just because like now I got my TV, my living room all rearranged.
yeah,
I got space.
the
I can sit
feng shui.
right in front of the TV and just stretch.
And put on a video how to like stretch.
Oh no, I just
Gotta
watch. I just
stretch
watch
the
the
pelvic
stupid
bowl.
late night shows.
Nice.
It's my guilty pleasure. Seth Meyers and Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert.
Mhm.
I probably won't watch anymore after January 20th.
Yeah, after all the election drama is gone, you're like,
It's so silly. Trump's raised over $200 million for his legal actions. Just paying off his debt. It was $421 million. He's going to have that paid off by the time he's done. Because idiots are still just like, here, take my money. Go fight those legal battles. Like, this even says in the fine print, none of the money goes to his legal shit under $8,000. It goes to him. You're just giving him money. Businessman. So they wake up. So the next day after this workout, he's explaining to him the training contraption in his truck.
yeah.
He's like, all you got to do is lean into it and push a little bit. You just got to push. What does he do to train the other arm?
I know. It like do you switch like what?
Must have another truck. His other truck.
Yeah.
It's a right-hand drive.
Yeah.
So he trains his left arm. I feel like he should have just had one giant arm.
Right? And
the other
one
one should have been regular size.
scrawny one.
So this is where they go to another diner. Oh,
yeah,
no.
they're at like an
First, he
arcade.
makes Mike drive first.
Oh
he's
yeah,
like,
because Mike calls him stupid.
he's like, oh, I'm such a stupid truck driver. Why don't you get over here?
Which I like that I definitely was for and agreed with. This brat is talking about how he's such a big f***ing idiot and is uneducated and just drives a truck, and he's like, okay, you drive it.
He learns it pretty quick,
Yeah.
like super quick.
And it's a standard truck, so I call 100% bullshit on that.
they're-
That
they're-
little bitch probably can't even reach the clutch.
Well, he was putting all his weight onto it. Stallone was shifting because if
Oh,
you've ever
yeah.
seen someone drive a semi or try to drive a semi, there's like knob you got to push and pull,
Yeah.
and there's like 18 gears and stuff. It's. I've never tried it, or have I tried it? I drove like a class 3 tandem truck once illegally. I didn't realize till after. So I was like, oh, you need a special license for that. I'm like, oh, thanks, boss. It was my boss making me drive it too.
Oopsie.
That was a dick. So this is where he tells the kid, he's like, you gotta, life ain't gonna meet you halfway. He's trying to give him all these life lessons to this
Yeah.
whole movie. He's like, you gotta take it if you want it. So he makes him arm wrestle the pinball wizard here. The mullet on that kid.
The teeth and the face on that kid.
He looked like somebody had taken a 35-year-old man back in 1987 and just shrunk him into a kid's body.
Yes.
Open shirt, open vest.
Yeah, open vest shirt. And then the amount of makeup they put on that kid, because in the close-up shots, you could see all of his like acne because he's a teenager, and they just slapped a bunch of shitty face makeup and powder on him. And because I'm into skincare and makeup, I was looking at that and I was like, that might have passed when you had 200 FPS in the 80s watching movies, but now that we have 4K, it's horrible. Like that poor kid.
I wasn't looking at his
He
skin.
was covered in makeup.
I was laughing at his hair.
That too, yeah.
And the line he pulls, if I lose to this kid, because he like, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
Kid, if I couldn't beat you, I'd kill myself.
And he'll say, you're going to arm wrestle my son here. And he's like, I don't want to arm wrestle. He's like, you're going to arm wrestle him. Forces him to arm wrestle this brat. Kid freaks out. He's like, I
Loses.
hate you so much.
Yeah, he's bawling his eyes out. You just wanted to embarrass me. You're doing that yourself, babe.
Yeah, he wants to see you win, bud.
Yeah.
He wants to see you be a tough guy. Talks him back up, gets back in there. He just gets angry. I can't remember what the line he says to him. What is it? He's like,
get mad, over the top.
the kid says, I can't remember what the kid says to him, but it was like some funny line. He tries to lip him back off. And he's like, yeah, you know what? You're an idiot or something like that.
Yeah.
This is gonna hurt, wimp. What do you think of that?
I think your breath stinks.
And then beats him too. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like Slash should have looked at him and went like, so how do you want to kill yourself? You want to take some pills? You want to stab yourself?
Right?
You said you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Bud.
Which is so, like, what a weird, random throwaway line. But it's also so funny because, like, right now, that's the line. You're just doing something and you're like, your sandwich falls on the ground and you're like, I'm going to kill myself. So, like, the fact that back in 87, we're still saying the same shit. Like, we are.
We're just humans. We're idiots. So he wins. Kid has to pay him. He says, I want to call mom.
Yeah.
Calls him mom, and she's in the hospital. Did I miss something?
So it's a throwaway line after this part, because when I saw her in the hospital, I was like, oh, this makes sense. She wants Sly to get to know their kid because she's dying. But then they say that she's in the hospital because she's going to get heart surgery.
Had they mentioned that before?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Okay, so I didn't miss it.
No.
They're just all of a sudden, she's just like,
Oh, so good to hear, Jerry.
Yeah.
Good job, Michael.
I'm like, why is she in a hospital bed?
That sounded like she was Dobby, the house.
Dobby. It's so good to hear from you, Michael.
I don't know where that voice came from.
Oh, you want an arm wrestle? Good.
Michael has given Dobby a shock. Dobby is free.
A free elf.
Okay, but when he dies in the first part of number 7 and he's like,
It's sad.
So good to be among friends.
I'm like,
Oh, I'm glad that I didn't. I was like, man, what did I almost rewound it and went back. So I'm like,
Nope.
why
Not
is she
worth
in the,
it.
why is she in the hospital? Doesn't make
Heart
any
surgery.
sense. He puts Sylvester on Lincoln on the phone. She's like, oh, I'm gonna talk to your mom. He closes the door. The kid gets kidnapped.
yeah.
Just kidnapped out of the parking lot.
And he's
Broad
like,
daylight.
"Ah!" Yeah. And then we find out after this car chase and after Lincoln gets his kid back because he hops in his truck and goes after him, he gets Michael back and he says that these were his grandpa's men. So what the hell?
So Grandpa is so diabolical, he has sent henchmen to kidnap his own grandchild.
Yeah.
Not thinking if other people were to see this, they might call the police. They might get back to me. Might get in a lot of shit for this. The mom
Might not
probably
get the
will not be
custody
happy.
you want.
And plus, they talk about that at one point, that he can't even get custody. They're like, no, you're not in a legal position to have full custody over this kid. So what are you going to do, Robert
Fine, I'm
Mosher?
going to kidnap him instead.
If your grandparents kidnapped you, if you're like, hey, I'm going to move out. I'm moving out. I'm getting my own place. And then like a month later, you walk downstairs and 2 other old people just like threw you in the back of a car. And they're like, we're here with your grandpa. And you'd probably hate them.
Yeah,
Be a little
I'd
angry.
be
You'd
like-
be like, what is wrong with you?
I'd be like, okay, so when are we hitting up Dr. Phil? Because we need help.
It's like, where did you even find these old people to do this, Grandma
Yeah,
and
these
Grandpa?
spry old people to kidnap a 25-year-old.
Got like geriatric kidnappers or some
Yeah.
geriatric kidnap corporation. Do you have an out-of-control grandchild that you need to discipline? Is your grandson or granddaughter out of control? Did they run away and you can't get them back? Well, look no further, Sonny, because here at the Geriatric Kidnapping Corporation, we specialize in getting your grandchildren back. Although it might take a little while, and we probably won't be able to get them if they're strong or fast. We're not very good with the internet either, so you'll have to tell us exactly where they are. Do your grandchildren like candy? We can lure them with candy, but if they don't like Werther's Original, well, then we'll have to figure something else out, because that's all we've got. Our trained operatives are available 24 hours a day, except breakfast, lunch, dinner time, recreational time, bingo, family visits, and of course, Madlock. So that kind of limits the time we're available. Personally, I don't know why you'd want to send old people. We're slow and we forget things. What was I talking about anyway? Why am I here? Who are you? What's this piece of paper say? Geriatric Kidnapping Corporation. Are you people here to take me away? I'm a veteran, goddammit! You'll never take me alive! You're listening to Real Garbage. Be interesting to see it happen.
Yeah.
You'd have to kidnap the unhealthy kids. I'm sure fit kids could just keep a light jog and stay away.
That's
Like, can you
true.
catch me, Gramps? Just cranks the throttle on his scooter. Runs him over, breaks his legs. Get on the scooter.
Get in the basket.
This is where they were driving in arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Wait, so I wrote, office, truck, driving in arm wrestling. I can't remember where they were going.
They
Then
were
the-
headed to California.
Oh, to
because
see
that's
the-
where the mother is.
California.
California.
That's right.
my
She
God.
got heart surgery and then she's dead.
Yeah, she died
it.
during surgery. Which wouldn't you, if you were having surgery and you were waiting for your son and your husband to get there, wouldn't you not have it until they were there?
Well, this is what Mike brings up next is like, if you hadn't made me drive and we could have flew, I could have seen her before she died. He was like blaming Lincoln for it.
Yeah.
He's like, this is all your fault. And then I think he goes back to Grandpa after that.
Yeah, he like runs out of the hospital and
again.
then he gets a taxi and he's like,
To the Cutler Estate, please.
We need to dissect this cab driver because it's another one of those situations
Yeah.
where the kid comes running out of the hospital and Lincoln is hot on his heels, catches him and is like, wait, come on, you can't leave. The kid runs away, he's like, taxi, 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 gets in, cab, and like Lincoln's running after him going like, Mike,
Yeah.
hey, wait, and the cab driver just leaves.
Yep.
I don't know a lot of cab drivers. I don't know a lot of cab
would-
drivers at all.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't expect a cab driver to just take off with a child
No.
that's being chased by an adult who obviously knows him.
yeah.
He's just like, hey, get in the back, kid. You got money? Let's go.
Yeah.
And
You
gone.
got grandpa's credit card?
That was just unfathomable. There's no way you're gonna do that. You're gonna be like, hold on. Who's that guy chasing you? Oh, he's your dad? Well, I'm not gonna drive away yet. You guys hash your shit out.
And also, this again has nothing to do with the movie, but this is why when I was a kid, I always thought cabs were free. Because in all of movies and TV, people would just hop in and be like, hi, X place, please. And then they would go, and then you'd get out. There's no scene ever in any movie or TV show where they're paying for the cab. So I thought it was free. So then when I took a cab with my friends and I found out it was $80 going from Sydney to town, I was
yeah.
like, I thought this was free.
What movie world are you from there,
Yeah.
lady?
I thought this was gonna be $0.
This is where we have the funeral. So it's the mom's funeral next. A very weird.
Yeah.
I wrote like funeral. Oh yeah, then dramatic. So there's a funeral. Then we cut to a shot with like the music playing in the background. The music in this was just.
Your wife is dead.
There was a point with the guitars had me just laughing because this next shot's like a silhouette of his truck and it like comes around the truck and he's sitting there with I thought he was having a beer, but he's holding a flashlight and he's just
Yeah.
clicking it off and on, looking all sad and somber. I'm like, okay.
He's just like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
And then he shows up at Lozier's house and he's like, yeah, I'm here to see Mikey. And you're like, oh yeah, we're supposed to tell you to get out of here.
Yeah, they're like, get the fuck out of here, loser.
And I knew right then and there, I'm like, ooh, he's going to drive that truck
Yeah,
to
he's
the
gonna
gate.
break
Yeah.
that fence.
I didn't think he was going to go into the house.
I know. Like full on does not put the brakes on whatsoever, crashes through this multi-million-dollar mansion, but I would too.
And the cops got there instantly. This maybe took about a minute and a half.
And with helicopters, because you heard the...
So I think they were next door arresting someone else. And they're
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, oh man, well, this person isn't guilty of anything, so
Yeah.
let's just go next door. We just
They're
got a call.
probably arresting another rich old dude for embezzlement.
No, they wouldn't they're getting paid. Come on.
True.
Not arresting them, they're getting paid. This is an old rich black guy. Then like, get in the car. He's got a knife.
God, yeah.
Toast.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
So he ends up signing a deal with this grandpa. Because, yeah, he's like, they say, look, you got to leave him alone. He's like, all right, fine, I'll sign it then. Signs the deal and then sells his truck. So he sells his truck?
Yeah, he sells his truck for
$7 G's.
$7,000. And then he heads to Vegas.
Going to Vegas.
To do the national arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling for a Volvo truck and $150,000 or $250,000?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I think it was $250,000.
I love how they were arm wrestling for money. I expected that. But the Volvo truck, I was like, this is perfect. He just sold his truck.
This is just it's just insinuating that all arm wrestlers are also truck
truckers.
drivers.
Yeah.
All of them. Well, I don't need that truck. I'm a banker, but sure.
But dope.
I'll take it anyway. And this is where old Mikey finds the letters and he's like, you lied to me.
You old son of a bitch.
Steals a truck. I had to like rewind
Yeah.
that part because I wasn't really paying attention to that
He
point.
steals his grandpa's Jeep.
Pulls out and I'm like, whoa, did the kid just steal that? Rewind.
Yeah.
I'm like, he sure did. Oh yeah, because he knows how to drive now. But the kid didn't shift. Sylvester Stallone was shifting.
I know.
He doesn't know how to shift gears.
Okay, do you honestly think that rich dude has standard cars?
No.
He has everyone doing everything for him. You think he's going to waste his time
I
shifting?
don't know how the kid would know how to drive an automatic. He's 12.
Oh, you could drive. If that kid was basically driving an automatic when Stallone was, I was going to say suctioning. Gears.
Shifting.
Thank you. Suctioning. When Stallone was shifting for him, he was just on the pedals and steering. That's automatic.
There's no clutch in an automatic though.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like he was he was doing everything for standard. Automatic would be easy.
I
that
guess. I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch. It's a movie. It's a
Yeah.
movie.
This whole thing is a bit of a stretch.
Steals the truck, and then the last half an hour of this movie is arm wrestling competition. And I wrote down, I wonder if back in '87, you're watching this, you're going like, oh, that's Mikey Salinger. Oh,
Yeah.
that's Mad Dog McCready. It turns out it's true. Because there were a couple of famous, actually well-known arm wrestlers at this thing. Because they had had the arm wrestling championship the day before. And a majority of the extras were people from the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was kind of neat.
It was nice that they like had some authenticity.
Arm wrestlers are crazy.
At least
Crazy.
in this, they were they were crazier than like WWE.
No,
people.
no. I mean, like, have you ever actually watched any actual arm wrestling competitions?
No.
This is legit. This is what these guys are like. They are psychos. Psychos.
What?
You watch a crazy champion arm wrestler get psyched up for an arm wrestling match, it's scary. It is scary. Like, the look in their eyes is psycho. I remember watching this, like, skinny dude, but he was just jacked, just like pacing back and forth like a mad dog, and then just like screaming with this look like I'm gonna murder this person as he's like, yeah, locking hands with the guy he's arm wrestling against. I'm like, what the hell?
What?
And then just, yeah, I'll show you some arm wrestling footage
Yeah.
of this. It's crazy. So watching these guys, I was like, yep, that's pretty standard crazy people.
Jesus.
Like, he's like, look at the size of some of those guys.
Yeah. Like how?
So much chalk.
And
Ooh,
that-
there was some good 80s long butt in there too.
Yeah. But another thing I noticed in this, you just said there were some not super jacked people. Like Sylvester Stallone did not look jacked in this movie. He looked like a regular dude.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't super roided up at this point in his career.
No.
Still, I can't remember when
Was
Rocky.
this-
Rocky was what?
90?
No. It was his like first
89?
movie.
Oh.
I want to say.
What?
Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. You got your phone. You can look it up. I don't
Oh,
have mine.
yeah.
You can
I have
check.
the power.
You can check.
I'll check it out.
But the kid, okay, this is how crazy the 80s were. The kid steals a truck, drives to the airport, flies. I
Yeah.
don't know where he got money. flies.
Grandpa's credit card.
Must have, but even Grandpa would be like, cancel the credit card. Cancel the credit card. I'm Robert Loggia. Flies to Vegas, figures out where his dad is, gets all the way there to this competition.
Safely, yeah.
And did you notice Pinball Wizard was in the crowd at one point?
Uh-huh.
I thought that was funny. I'm like, what the hell is that arm wrestling kid doing traveling all the way to Vegas
Right?
for an arm wrestling competition? But see, that's how big arm wrestling was.
Okay, so Rocky was in 76, but
Yeah,
he was buffer for
76?
Rocky. So he slimmed out for this?
Mhm.
Because this Rocky
11 years later. 76? It's
Yeah,
that old?
because Rocky 4 was 85.
Holy
And even
crap.
in Rocky 4 he was really buff. So what the hell?
Weird. So, well, that's steroids, though. You never stay big. You fluctuate.
That
You
is
cycle.
insane. What the hell?
Get the introductions to the 8 finalists after the semis, or these are the semifinalists. And
Yeah.
I think we get one interview clip, and I'm like, wait a minute, are we going to get all of them talking? We sure are.
Yeah. I like this movie went from trying to decide what it wanted to be, like I said earlier, but then also, do we want to be The Office before The Office is a real thing? Like you just hear do-do-do, and Rocky's like, yeah, I'm gonna arm wrestle, like deadpan to the camera, and then some other guy says something, and I'm waiting for Sylvester Stallone to look at the camera like Jim and be like, it was.
Like, I just want the truck. I don't need the money. I just want the truck. I need the truck.
Yeah.
I sold mine.
So he arm wrestles Grizzly first. John Grizzly.
Oh yeah.
Guy eats his cigar. He's like, we're going to do this. I'm like,
Like,
If anyone out there has ever swallowed a mouthful of dip, if you've ever
dip.
got to have a dip,
Never had a dip.
ugh,
I had a Dole Whip.
you got a couple of those, and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I don't
throw
feel so
up?
good. And then you're lightheaded. This guy would have been like lightheaded as hell
Yeah.
after eating that cigar. It's pure nicotine. It's like one cigar is like
filter, yeah.
15 cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
And then he slow-mo loses to Grizzly. So disappointing. But you couldn't have him just beating everybody.
No.
Had to lose one because he's got to face adversity.
And I loved that after he lost and he was walking away, my brain was like, okay, he lost. That's it. One of the credits. But then the announcer's like, we have 2 rounds here, folks. 2 rounds. And I'm like,
They made sure they told us
okay.
that a couple of times so we
Yeah.
didn't forget. Oh, no, he lost. He's going to lose twice there, folks. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is where Cutler, his name is Cutler,
Mm-hmm.
the old dude. He picks him up. And this is where he's like, this is where he offers him the truck too, right? He's like, the
Yeah.
truck down there is worth $250,000.
Yeah.
And I'll give you $500,000. Just take it. And he's like, no, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Yeah. Okay. There was a point when he went to military school to pick the kid up at the start. He's wearing a long sleeve blue shirt with suspenders.
Yeah.
Is he wearing the same shirt? He just ripped the sleeves off of it at this point?
I think so. I
I love it. I just noticed that. I was like, wait a minute. That's the same shirt. He just tore
Because-
the sleeves off.
At the beginning, when Mike was running away and he grabbed him, he ripped one of the sleeves of his army jacket. And then later on, when they're working out in their montage, he rips the other one and makes a vest. So I'm pretty sure that's what he did.
Sleeveless shirts and sleeveless vests. Well, vests are always sleeveless. Sleeveless was just the theme of this movie.
Yeah.
Sleeveless and arm wrestling.
so you could show off those arms.
The guns.
Okay, I was blanking on what they were called. I was like, I know legs are like, look at these gams. But I was like, what are arms?
Guns. 2 tickets to the gun show. So he has to arm wrestle Grizzly again.
Mm-hmm.
This is his. He has to win this or he's toast. And Grizzly said something like,
I'm going through you like gas to a funnel.
about drinking gasoline.
Yeah.
And then
Drinks gasoline.
looks like, so this guy is eating cigars and drinking gasoline.
He should be called the Garburator.
He should
not
be
Grizzly.
dead.
Yeah.
He should just be dead. Because
Yeah.
drinking gasoline is going to make you really sick. Eating cigars is going to make you really sick.
Yeah. Huffing gasoline will make you really sick.
Make
Let
you
alone
real
drink.
high.
Yeah.
This is high test.
Oh, Christ, that's good stuff. That's high test.
Can
That's
I get
good.
a toot
Yeah,
down
yeah,
here?
go for it.
And he beats Grizzly. And they got a kid made it all the way there.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Right? Yeah. He just knows his way around.
Oh, do you know what? I forgot to do. I was going to do this at the start of the show. I was just going to have my hat on this way, and then I was gonna turn the switch.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna turn it's like turn on a switch.
I just try to take my hat and I turn it around, and it's like a switch that goes on. And when the switch goes on, I feel like another person. I feel like a truck.
Because that's what he says in his clip where he's getting
Yes.
interviewed. He's like, I take my hat and I turn it backwards, and it's like I turn a switch and turn into a different person. Yeah, hey.
Hey, I'm Rocky.
He beats Grizzly.
Mm-hmm.
And then his Mike finds him and he's like, oh, it's so good to see you. The shirt, I'm going to put a picture of it up on the screen. The shirt that Stallone was wearing. Where did he get it? It's like a girl's shirt. Sleeves stop about here and they go on an angle.
I know.
And then the cut is like down
So,
here.
yeah.
The deepest crew neck I've ever seen.
Isn't that 80s though? Like, also, guys wore stringers and like showed off their nips all the time.
Oh, those are like workout shirts.
Yeah, but they wore them for more than just working out.
Probably. Wife beaters were a big thing, like the white tank tops.
Yeah,
I used to wear those in my early 20s, in my late teens, back in my day.
I had a gray wife beater that I loved so much.
It used to be the thing. I don't even own one.
I don't either.
For me, it's t-shirts or hoodies.
Yep.
Long sleeve shirts, that's it. I don't wear sleeveless shirts anymore.
No.
I'm over it.
I'm an adult now. I don't need to show off my shoulders.
Now we come to the finals.
The final arm wrestle.
Bull versus Hawk. The final showdown. The 5-time arm wrestling champ.
Yeah, bull.
So they go first round. His hand slips. He lets go. And that's when like, bring out the strap.
Yeah.
And they strap them together. You're like, oh man, this is crazy. And so they don't have to get beat twice, though. This is just one and done.
Yeah, like
Right?
I guess for the qualifiers you get an extra chance, but then once it's the real deal, the finals, you only get one shot.
One shot. One opportunity.
This is everything you ever wanted.
I-
One moment.
I must say, I appreciate that Bull was gracious in defeat.
Yeah.
They're strapped together. He loses. He gets a little angry, and then he's like, you know what? Yeah, this guy won. Put him up.
Yeah.
I was like,
He wasn't
"Man, that's
a
good. He's
sore
very,
loser.
very respectful because the guy was intense.
Yeah.
Very
He was
intense.
a better loser than Grizzly Gasoline.
Grizzly.
Grizzly gasoline cigar.
So, hey, wait, he wins, and now Loja's like, oh, I see, because the kid's all happy because he's getting picked up by his dad, and he's holding up the trophy, and he's like, yeah, and then Loja's like, oh, I see now.
Yeah, like it's suddenly come to light.
That's all it took was the kid to run away, steal a truck, fly to Vegas. How did Loja get to Vegas so quickly?
I know.
How did he even know the kid was going to Vegas?
He probably has a private jet.
But still, there's
There's
so many things.
plot holes.
How'd the kid even get to Vegas that quick? Like, you just go to the airport
Yeah,
and like,
where's
"Hey,
your
take me to Vegas,
passport?
please." Like,
This is pre 9/11.
yeah, pre-90.
Yeah.
But the kid's unaccompanied minor, no ID.
You can fly by yourself when you're like 12 or 13. Because the first time I was on a plane, I was like 13.
Yeah, I think I did fly solo myself first. First time ever, too.
Yeah.
And he gets his new rig. That's the end.
Yeah, and it's literally the end, and they drive off. So like, okay, I guess that kid's not going back to school because he's gonna be a stupid truck driver.
Gonna be a truck driver.
Yeah, like
That was over the top, everybody. What'd you give this? What'd you real rate it?
okay, I real rated this 2 arm wrestling pull up truck rigs out of 10 mullety kids. Like, the only things I liked about this movie were that the kid was like a cute kid and Stallone was like attractive still. That's it. Nothing else. I was, I checked the time so often and just, it couldn't decide what I wanted to be. Like, derailed. Like, what do you pick a lane?
Yeah, what kind of movie is this?
Yeah. What did you real rate it?
I rated this 4 mullets playing pinball out of 10 angry arm wrestling montages. Because it wasn't horrible. It was an 80s movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was Stallone. He gave a decent performance.
Yeah.
The writing was really poor.
Yeah.
The sequencing was kind of shitty. Loja was a shitty villain. Wasn't even
Horrible
really
person.
villain. Yeah, it was just a dick.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of plot holes, a lot of things that were like, wait a minute, why'd that happen? Like, I was concerned as to why the mom was in the hospital. It just didn't make sense to me. There was a lot of stuff that I was like, okay, it could have been a great movie. But at the same time, it was a movie about arm wrestling.
Yeah.
And really, arm wrestling was like a thing in the 80s at some point.
Apparently.
And it's like irrelevant right now.
Yeah.
It is
irrelevant.
2020 and we're watching a movie that's 33 years old, though. So that's our fault. It's on us. We accept that, folks.
That was over the top.
Over the top. All right, well, everybody, find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Podbean, Spotify, Apple iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, I think, if that's even a thing yet. Is it a thing? We're probably
Yeah,
on there.
Google
We're
Podcasts.
We're on YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
Everywhere you find your podcasts.
Yeah.
Send us a suggestion if you got a movie you want us to review. I haven't burped a lot lately.
I know. What
which
the
is
hell?
Strange. I'm trying to sometimes too, but I'm like, nah, this ain't happening. I'm just gonna quit weed again. I was getting a little out of control. Not out of control, but I was getting lazy. So now I'm not munching as much, not drinking any pop, so I'm not burping as much.
Makes sense.
It is what it is.
Tis what it is.
Right, well, everybody, till next week. I want to think of like a sign off. I always think of them and I forget later.
Same.
I want to do something like,
What's the sign?
remember, you're not that important and nobody cares about you. That's just me. Remember, drink your water and get a lot of sleep. Remember, you're not important enough to track.
Yeah.
Remember, vaccines are important.
Remember, the COVID vaccine isn't going to track you. You know what will? This guy.
Remember, they vaccinated a 9-year-old woman in Britain and Bill Gates is playing her with a controller. Who knows? None of it's true. Okay, that's enough. I'll pick one eventually. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Real garbage.